On this week's episode of the Rambler Sports Locker, the men's basketball team continues to make a run at the Missouri Valley Conference title, and RSL reporter Megan Dela Cruz breaks down her top 5 Loyola athletes.
Also, the men's volleyball team faced their first 2 MIVA opponents, and Henry Redmond and his Ramble analysts discuss if the men's basketball team can get an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament. Welcome back to this week's episode of the Rambler Sports Locker. I'm Hayley Spitler.
And I'm Nick Schultz. The men's basketball team continues to dominate in the Missouri Valley Conference with 3 games remaining in the season.
On Sunday, February 11th, the women's basketball team also took on Valparaiso University in Gentile Arena. The game started out strong for the Ramblers with a 7-0 lead. That lead continued into the second quarter, where graduate student guard Jessica Cerda shot 3 straight threes to end the half with a score of 25 points to 16. Sophomore guard Tiara Wallace kept up the pace for the Ramblers in the third quarter with 3 points, which had the Ramblers headed into the fourth quarter with an 8-point lead. The Crusaders shot 50% from the field and connected for 30 points in the fourth quarter. The Ramblers could not hold on and lost the game 63-53. On Monday, February 12th, freshman guard Ellie Rice was named the Missouri Valley Conference Newcomer of the Week. This was the first collegiate honor she has received. Rice shot a team-high 17 points in the loss to Valparaiso and has averaged 10.5 points and 4.8 rebounds in the last 6 games. The women's basketball team is now 5-18 overall and 3-9 in conference play. Their next game is at home on February 16th against Missouri State. Last month saw a lot of success for Loyola athletics. RSL reporter Megan Dela Cruz ranks her top 5 Loyola athletes for the month of January in this week's top 5. The men's volleyball team kicked off conference play last Friday, February 9th, with a match against Quincy University. The Ramblers quickly picked up the lead in the first set after Quincy had back-to-back errors and never looked back. They won the set 25-16. The second set was an almost identical story, and they quickly won with a score of 25-15. The third set, however, saw a change in pace and a lot of back and forth between the Ramblers and the Hawks. Quincy ultimately took the set with a close score of 27-25. The fourth set once again went in Quincy's favor with a score of 25-22. Both teams having 2 set wins forced the 5th and final set. Loyola was able to take that set and the match with a final score of 15-11. The match saw a team-high 14 kills from junior outside hitter Colin Mahan. The Ramblers were back in action the following day, February 10th, to take on MIVA opponent Lindenwood University. The match saw a much more decisive victory than the night before, winning in 3 sets. The Ramblers cruised ahead of the Lions to a 25-20 victory in the first set. The second set proved to be a little more of a challenge for Loyola, the score going back and forth between the 2 teams, but ultimately being won by Loyola 29-27. The third set saw a quick victory for the Ramblers with a score of 25-17 against Lindenwood. Mahan once again led the team with kills, this time with a total of 12. The Ramblers are now 9-2 on the season and 2-0 in MIVA play. They will hit the road for the first time in 6 weeks when they play Fort Wayne on February 16th.
Although the women's volleyball season is over, the Ramblers will still be working hard this offseason, this time with their new coach. RSL reporter Claire Philpy talked to new head coach Amanda Berkeley.
The track and field team had a busy weekend competing at 3 invitationals. Loyola competed in Fayetteville, Arkansas on February 9th at the Tyson Invitational. Senior Kira Washpun and sophomore Eric Burns were the sole Rambler representatives and both participated in the long jump. Burns placed 22nd and Washpun had a season-best leap of 5.26 meters, which earned her 8th overall. The rest of the men's team traveled to Geneva, Ohio to compete at the Spire D1 Invitational on February 9th and 10th. Junior Kevin White won the mile race with a time of 4 minutes and 3.09 seconds. That time is the 4th fastest in Loyola history. The 4x400 relay team of juniors LaRon Norton and Elijah Olich and sophomores Octavian Wells and Michael Edwards had a season-best time of 3 minutes and 12.84 seconds. They earned 3rd place in the event. The women were busy at the GVSU Big Meet in Allendale, Michigan this past weekend. On Friday, February 9th, redshirt junior Lindsey Brewis finished in first again, this time in the 5,000-meter race with a time of 16 minutes and 26.01 seconds. Senior Emma Hatch finished the same race with a personal best of 16 minutes and 55.28 seconds, which earned her 7th. Hatch competed the next day, February 10th, in the mile run. She finished in first with a time of 4 minutes and 59.9 seconds. The track and field team will end their indoor regular season this weekend, February 17th, at the Alex Wilson Invitational in South Bend, Indiana.
The men's basketball team is flying through the MVC and has its best shot at an NCAA appearance since the 1980s.
Henry Redmond and his Ramble analysts discussed the Ramblers' shot at earning an at-large bid to the tournament.
Thanks, Henry. I got to go with Sebastian. If any mid-major school is going to get an at-large bid, it's the Ramblers. They're playing too well.
Fingers crossed. For our full episodes and the chance to get in on the conversation, follow and like our social media handles for an up-to-date look at all things Rambler Sports.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Nick Schultz.
And I'm Hayley Spitler. Check back next week for another episode of the Rambler Sports Locker.
And as always, don't forget to turn out the lights.